What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. What the F literally just happened to the Bitcoin price this morning? So basically, in a nutshell, and honestly, I don't even know what else to make a video about today because this is insane. So CoinTelegraph came out this morning and said that the SEC had approved the Blackrock ETF, right? Markets go absolutely crazy. Everybody over on Twitter starts reposting saying the SEC has approved Blackrock, and the price literally pumps 10%. Now, I did not retweet this because I just felt a little weird about the lack of sources. So we waited. Eric Belchunas, who's ETF master, at this stuff, he was looking into the sources, and finally we did in fact have this news that it was fake. A spokesperson, or at least someone close to BlackRock, I'm not really 100% sure, basically came out and said, no, the ETF is still under review, right? And so then the price just completely retraced virtually the entire move. Now, there's a few things I need to say about this before, and obviously we're going to have to look at the charts now because now we have this crazy price action. How is this going to affect it? Is it going to negatively affect it now? Because here's the thing. There are a lot of people that most likely went long during this move. They thought they were going to, get this crazy gains. And I mean, my God, I don't even know what the liquidations are at right now. It has to be in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's really insane. And then what happened was CoinTelegraph went back and they changed their tweet to reportedly, okay? Reportedly after the news came out. But man, I could just tell you this. A lot of people probably lost a lot of money this morning. And I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone tries to sue these guys because this is not the type of news that you just make up something about. I mean, can you imagine if a mainstream news source said something like that, said like, oh, there's these riots that are happening or something, or said something was happening, or, made up something about a world war. I mean, this is crazy. We're talking about finance here, but what I'm trying to say is, like, imagine if a mainstream media did that. CoinTelegraph is arguably one of the largest out there, right? I'd put them right up there with CoinDesk and a few others. And to just put news out like that, and knowing how much that affects millions of people in the Bitcoin and crypto space and all the people that actually potentially got wrecked on this move, man, I don't really know what to think about that, guys. It's pretty crazy. But listen, here's the thing. Here's the thing I want to point out. Now, I don't know if this is going to negatively affect the price because, I mean, think about it now. Look at what the SEC, now they're seeing this price manipulation, right, or whatever you want to call it. That's not going to look good. That's not going to look good. I mean, look how quick one little tweet was able to move the price like that, right? So essentially, that could be bad. But before we get into the TA, I want to end on something that needs to be addressed. And that's the fact that look at what happened to the price on just speculation, on just this fake news that wasn't even confirmed. 10% candle pump in like a few minutes, right? So I think that what that's really telling us is for all these people that are like, oh, the ETF is priced in. It's clearly not priced in because look what happened with just this fake news. Now, obviously, everybody sold out of their positions once they found out that the news was fake. But really, this is showing me that it's not priced in. And that was just a taste of things to come. And when the real ETF gets approved, and remember, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, all right? We have the insiders that are saying, we have these deadlines coming up. I think this just goes to show you that it's going to be massive. And I can literally smell the FOMO in the air. So I think that actually, even though what happened this morning was pretty unfortunate for a lot of people who did jump on that because of the fake news, I think that what it's really showing us is that it's not priced in. And if you think that that was big, you probably haven't seen anything yet. So take it with a grain of salt. I think we can see the silver lining around this dark cloud that did happen this morning. But nevertheless, I suppose we should probably hop in and do some TA. And again, I don't really know what else to talk about today because that pretty much takes the cake for the craziest thing that's probably going to happen today. So also, guys, remember, I am going to be traveling. My schedule might be a little bit weird. Videos might come out at different times. So make sure you got the bell notification on. Make sure you're subscribed and all that other stuff. So let's hop in and let's at least try to make sense of the TA if we even can after some crazy move like this. So this has to literally be one of the craziest price moves that we have seen in a long time. You can actually see right here, if we just take out our tool, sort of from when we broke this level, Bitcoin came up almost 12%. Now it has retraced back here. Obviously, if we exclude this insane price action, which clearly was not natural, it was driven on news, it was driven on, emotions. Again, we did have this downward sloping trend right here. Even though we did lose the upwards trend, we did have support down here. So, I mean, even though this was a pump on fake news, I would be interested to see if we now hold back above here and if this actually turns out to just be a giant fake out, right? If we come over here, you can see that we are actually back above the EMA ribbon. So again, that 89 is around 27,651. Now, there is something that I did want to show you guys, which could actually be really positive for the Bitcoin price. But again, it is only Monday, guys. And I mean, this is a crazy way to start the week off. This is a very insane move. But what you could see is we did fall out. Let me look at that volume. Look at that volume that came in right there. And you can see right here, we did have this fake out. Again, this was a little bit news driven, right? We broke right through the 100, and this is the 200 daily. So you can see that the bulls are attempting to struggle above it. But if you look right here, this is that heart line of that upward sloping trend, right? So ultimately, if you kind of just erase, everything that we didn't really know about this morning, this would essentially just be a bear trap. And now we're back at the heart line of the upwards trend, right? So again, there's nothing really that we should be too worried about with the price action unless, like Gary comes out and says, forget about it, or there's this crazy manipulation, whatever. But, the thing that I talked about was we were looking to potentially put in this death cross on the weekly. And remember, I had spoke about how we had never actually ever seen one of those before. So we don't know how that's going to actually play out. We did, however, get down here, right? We got this buy signal on the hash ribbon indicator, which has only been wrong twice. And really, one time was because of the black swan, and the other time, it really wasn't wrong. But here is the situation. So if you look, and this is, I guess, a little bit of the scary part. So we have this giant parallel channel that we've been in, right? Now, if we were to fall down to this heart line, that would bring Bitcoin down to about $17,500. And that would not really be too great. That would actually be very bad for the Bitcoin price. But what we have is we have the 50, the 100, the 200 EMA, and the 200 weekly, all looking like they're trying to sort of all, coincide in this area. And at the same time, we have the 100 literally kissing the downwards part of this trend, right? So basically, when we had actually broken out here, when we had this wick breaking up here, I was getting kind of excited. Of course, I didn't know what the news was, if it was true or not, but that would basically put us in clean water because we would be above the 50, above the 200 EMA, above the 200 weekly, and above the 100. These are all four of the major moving averages that we use. 21 exponential we use as well. And, that could put us into something where we were looking for another type of a bump and run, right? Like what we have here. And these patterns usually signal reversals and or continuations, right? For example, we could just draw some lines right here if you want to see it sort of live. Right here, we draw this trend right here. You could see where we had that bump and run right there, right? You could see how we had this area, and then right here, bump, run, right? And we've seen it actually right here. You could even take from the top right here and come down like this, where we had this second area right here, you could see, and then we came down and we retested it. So that is one definite possibility. And, we were getting confluence on Market Cipher. In fact, Market Cipher was indicating that you probably were looking to get into a long at that area. But again, it's a little scary considering that, actually, look at that. We perfectly hit that VPVR right there, 30. Yeah, look at that. Bitcoin came up to about a high of around 30,300. Wow. And that's crazy. That is exactly where we had this floor right here, right? That is exactly the area that we were looking to break through, because once we broke through that, there was a good chance of actually continuing to the upside. Actually, here was the example of the bump and run that I had set up. I was going to show you guys. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, having a look right here, again, look at exactly where we went into. We went into the blue zone, right? We went into the bottom of this area. So this was a fake out. And unfortunately, it's kind of hard to count that as really anything because it was a fake news driven event and no one could have foreseen that. So kind of we're just back where we are. Again, is there now that possibility that we come down and we retest some of these major trends? It's possible. But as of right now, we are still technically, theoretically, we didn't put in a higher high, unfortunately, but we are still continuing to put in a series of higher lows, which, if we look here, we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 more weeks, maybe a month and a half, roughly, before, we're going to have to make a decision if we're going to have that breakout or if we're going to break down and retest this level. But obviously, the longer that we wait to retest that level, the higher that potential level will be because these spider lines are rising, right? So that might bring us down to about 26,000 and change or something like that again. But yeah, basically, really, ultimately, not much has changed on the chart. But But yeah, I would say probably this thing right here, this little cluster F, you know what I'm talking about? This is probably what we have to pay the most attention to see if now this 200 EMA at around 25.7 is going to hold us as it's been holding us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bounces and closes we had above it. Actually 6 if you count, 7 actually if you count this back here. So yeah, it's been holding us quite well. And we do have this looking like it wants to curve up. Now, a very interesting thing right here is we have this coming out, right? The 200 EMA, and we have this coming up right here, the 50. So it's really weird. You may be having a potential death cross and golden cross at the same time. Very confusing times, but ultimately I think a 5-year-old could see that this is where we've been held down. This is the major parallel structure, and anything breaking and holding above this would be great. So again, what's actually kind of crazy is the level that we need to break above is kind of the level that we're at literally right now, which is actually kind of insane. We're literally at that level right now, which is roughly at around $28,300. So again, guys, it is only Monday, and these are weekly candles, so we have an entire week to see what ends up happening, but that's basically where we're at. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great day. Crazy, crazy times, crazy price action. Inevitably, I still, obviously am bullish on Bitcoin. I just don't know how certain people are going to respond to this. Is the SEC going to come out and be like, see, I told you, look at the manipulation? I don't know. I don't know how that's going to affect things. But, as of right now, as long as Bitcoin continues to maintain its high or low, structure, as far as I'm concerned, maybe we just erase this and we just go back to right where price was supposed to be anyway. So hopefully that's the situation. So thank you so much, guys, for coming back to the channel. I love you. You're awesome. If you do want to learn how to trade, definitely don't trade news events if you can't confirm them. But yeah, check out the tutorials popping up right here, right now. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.